Hi everyone, it's Lily from Sweet to Savory. Today I'm going to show you how to make Phở Gà, which is also known as chicken pho. It is a Vietnamese dish. The broth is made from a whole chicken that you simmer for about an hour with toasted onion, ginger, and star anise. And once it's done, you shred up the chicken and you layer it on top of chewy pho noodles such as these. You can also add in some bean sprouts, Thai basil, cilantro, green onion, and if you want to kick it up a notch, you can add in some sriracha sauce. If you want to add some sweetness, you can add in hoisin sauce. If you want zest, you can also add in lime juice. I like to call this as a warm hug in a bowl. It's the best comfort food, especially when it's cold out. So let me go show you how to make this. Begin by filling 2/3 of a large stock pot with water. You want to make sure to use a pot large enough to cook a whole chicken for the broth. Here I'm using a 15-liter stock pot and filled it with 10 liters of cold tap water. You might be wondering why such a large amount. Well, Vietnamese pho is usually made in a large amount because it's an easy and affordable meal to serve to a large family or group of people, especially when there's leftover dinner for the next day. You can also freeze the remaining broth that you can use in stir fries or other dishes. Bring water to a boil with the lid on. In the meantime, rinse your chicken and pat it dry with paper towels. You can use a whole chicken to make your broth, or you can use a combination of chicken thighs, chicken breasts, and drumsticks. Once the water is boiling, slowly lower the chicken into the pot. Add 1 tablespoon of salt and close the lid once more to let the water return to its boiling state. When the water reaches a boiling point again, remove the lid, reduce your heat to medium-high, and skim the water surface with a ladle or a skimmer spoon like you see here to remove foam or impurities that float to the surface. In addition to keeping the lid off for the rest of the cooking time, skimming the water surface will help with keeping the broth as clear as possible. While the chicken is simmering, we're going to roast our spice and root vegetables. Peel 3 large yellow onions and cut them in half against the grain. Then peel 2 medium whole ginger roots, cut them into smaller 1-inch pieces, and slice them in half. Or if you can't find medium roots, you can use 1 large ginger root instead. Preheat a large skillet or nonstick pan on high heat. Add half a cup of star anise and roast it for a few minutes until it's lightly charred and fragrant. If you don't know what star anise smells like, it can best be described as spicy sweet fennel or licorice. When you're done roasting, scoop star anise into a heat-proof bowl and set it aside for now. While the pan is still on high heat, add 1 teaspoon vegetable oil and place onion halves with the cut side down. Roast onions for a few minutes until charred to a dark brown, almost black color. Then flip and roast onions on the other side until charred to the same degree. This step should not be skipped as charring onions brings out a delicious roasted flavor, but also helps keep our broth clear. Set onions aside to cool for a few minutes while you continue to roast the ginger. You don't need to add more oil to the pan since the ginger won't need to roast for long. All we're doing is charring it lightly for a few minutes on each side. Remove the ginger when it's done and set it aside on a wooden cutting board to cool for about 5 minutes. Then use the flat side of a meat tenderizer and flatten ginger slices to release its juices for the broth. Now you can add everything to the pot and let all that roasted goodness infuse into the chicken broth. Add half a cup of fish sauce, 3 tablespoons chicken bouillon powder, and half a cup of yellow rock sugar, which is also known as cane sugar. If you can't find cane sugar, you can add a 1/3 cup of white sugar instead. After an hour of simmer time, you can remove and discard the roasted vegetables and star anise if you like. I usually like to keep mine in the pot until the broth has cooled before I discard it. Your chicken should be fully cooked, and you will know it's cooked when the chicken floats to the surface in the pot. Now is a good time to turn your heat down to low to keep the broth warm while you continue to work. Very carefully remove the entire chicken and immerse it into a cold water bath to cool it for about 10 to 15 minutes. This is because we want to stop it from continuing to cook. Debone and shred the entire chicken. Set it aside and cover it with plastic wrap. About 30 minutes before you are ready to serve the soup, soak your pho rice noodles in lukewarm water. Then, portion the noodles into a mesh strainer, boil them for a few seconds in a separate pot, and transfer them to individual soup bowls. I will leave a link above and in the description below to a separate post I created on how to soak and use flat pho rice noodles. Make sure you are using at least 8-inch large soup bowls in order to be able to fit all of the ingredients in. Layer your bowl with cooked rice noodles, thinly sliced white onion, shredded chicken, bean sprouts, chopped green onion and cilantro, cooked quail eggs or half a boiled chicken egg. These are optional, of course. Fresh Thai basil leaves, and finally, your chicken broth. Alternatively, you can serve bean sprouts, Thai basil, lime wedges, and sliced jalapeno or red Thai chili pepper on a separate plate at the table. Then each person can customize the pho bowl themselves. Don't forget to set out a bottle of sriracha sauce and hoisin sauce for additional seasoning options. I hope you give this recipe a try. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, comment down below with any questions you may have, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.